AITA for calling off the wedding after my fiancée said she'd take her best friend's last name? I'm 31, a civil engineer living in Colorado. Good job, I own my house, have a paid-off SUV, a pretty average life. Nothing flashy, but stable. I met my now ex-fiancée, Haley, 3 years ago through mutual friends. She was a graphic designer, had this whole artistic vibe, and we hit it off right away. In the beginning, Haley was fun, creative, and spontaneous, always coming up with random ideas for weekend adventures. We would drive to small towns just to try their local diners. We would spend Sundays hunting for weird vintage stuff at thrift stores. The whole cutesy relationship thing that gets people commenting couple goals on Instagram. The proposal was last December. Nothing over the top. I took her to a scenic overlook she loved. I got down on one knee at sunset. The whole traditional setup. She cried, said yes, and immediately posted it with like 40 hashtags. I thought we were solid. This is where things started to get weird. Haley had a male best friend named Marco. They had known each other since elementary school, grew up on the same street, went to the same schools, the whole childhood friend story. Marco was always around, and when I say always, I mean always. Game nights, dinners, family gatherings, you name it. If Haley was there, Marco wasn't far behind. Look, I'm not the jealous type. I have female friends. I understand platonic friendships exist. But there's a difference between having a friend and having someone who acts like he's in a relationship with your fiancé, minus the physical part. Marco would show up at our place unannounced. He would give his opinion on our furniture. He was somehow always available whenever Haley needed something. The guy was like a shadow. My friend Darius pointed it out early on. We were at a sports bar watching the playoffs when Marco's name came up for the 15th time that week. Dude, that's weird, isn't it? Darius said between bites of his burger. I mean, she's marrying you, but Marco is basically already living the married life with her. They're just close friends, I said, repeating what Haley always told me. Close friends don't have keys to each other's apartments or show up for breakfast uninvited. That's spouse behavior. I brushed it off. I thought Darius was being paranoid. Haley and I were engaged, planning a wedding, talking about buying a bigger house together. Marco was just a friend. It was nothing. Then came the wedding planning. That's when the Marco situation went from mildly annoying to absolutely insane. We were sitting in a bridal shop with Haley's mom, Monica, looking at wedding dresses. Haley was trying on ridiculously expensive gowns while Monica played the fairy godmother, encouraging her to pick whatever she wanted, price be damned. I was just sitting there, nodding and smiling, being the supportive fiancé. Haley finally settled on a beautiful dress. I'll admit it. Lace, fitted bodice, very elegant. Price tag, $8,000. My first thought was, that's a used car. But Haley was looking at me with those excited eyes, and her mom was already pulling out her credit card. Actually, we'll get this, Monica announced. Consider it our wedding gift. Every bride deserves her dream dress. Haley hugged her mom. They both cried happy tears, and I was thinking, well, one big expense down. Monica paid the deposit, they scheduled the fittings, and we left with Haley practically floating on air. Fast forward 2 weeks. We were at Haley's apartment. She hadn't moved in with me yet. She wanted to wait until after the wedding. We were addressing invitations. A mind-numbingly boring task, but hey, it's part of the process. Marco was there too, because apparently he had offered to help. Great. We were stuffing invitations into envelopes when Haley dropped this bombshell. I've been thinking about the last name thing, she said casually, like she was talking about dinner. What last name thing? I asked, not looking up. After we're married. The last name. I knew this would come up eventually. Some women hyphenate, some keep their maiden name, some take their husband's. I was fine with whatever she wanted. It's her name. Okay, what are you thinking? I asked. Well, I've decided to take Marco's last name instead of yours. The room went completely silent. I literally stopped mid-envelope and just stared at her. Marco was looking down at his phone like it was suddenly the most interesting thing in the world. What? Marco's last name. Sterling. Haley Sterling just sounds so much better than Haley Bennett. My mom and I used to joke about it when I was a kid, about how pretty Sterling would be as a last name. I looked at her, waiting for the punchline. But she was serious. You want to take your male best friend's last name after you marry me? It just sounds better, she said, completely casual. Bennett is a little harsh. Sterling flows better. Besides, Marco and I always joke that we'd be like siblings one day with the same last name. It's an inside joke from when we were like 10. Marco was still staring at his phone like it held the secrets to the universe. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. We're getting married. You're supposed to be my wife. But you want to take another man's last name because it sounds prettier. And you have childhood jokes about it. When you say it like that, it sounds weird, Haley said, finally catching my tone. But yeah, basically. Does it really matter that much? It's just a name. If it's just a name, why not take mine? Because Sterling is objectively better sounding. Come on. You have to admit, Haley Sterling sounds classier than Haley Bennett. I looked over at Marco. He had an awkward expression but wasn't saying anything, just sitting there like a statue. And what do you think about this, Marco? I asked him directly. I mean, it's her decision, he mumbled. If she wants to use Sterling, I guess that's fine. Fine, you guess. Your best friend wants to marry me, but take your last name. And you think that's fine? Haley jumped in immediately. Why are you getting weird about this? It's literally just a name. You're acting like I'm asking to marry Marco instead of you. Are you listening to yourself right now? I shot back. You're asking to take another man's name while marrying me. That's not normal. Plenty of women keep their maiden names or hyphenate or do whatever they want, she argued. This is what I want. I've been Haley Sterling in my head since I was a kid. It's who I'm supposed to be. The audacity was breathtaking. She genuinely saw nothing wrong with this. I put the invitation down on the table and stood up. I need some air. I walked out of the apartment and sat in my SUV for 20 minutes, just processing what had just happened. I called Darius immediately. She wants to do what? Darius's voice went up about 3 octaves. Take Marco's last name. Says it sounds better, and they joked about it as kids. Dude, that's not normal. That's the biggest red flag I have ever heard of in my life. She's basically telling you that Marco matters more than you do. But it's just a name, I said, repeating her words. If it was just a name, she'd take yours or keep her own. Choosing a third option that just so happens to be her male best friend's last name is a deliberate act. She's sending a message. He was right. This wasn't about aesthetics or childhood jokes. It was about priorities, and apparently, I wasn't at the top of Haley's list. I went back inside. Haley and Marco were laughing at something on his phone. The invitations were forgotten on the table. We need to talk, I said. Marco, can you give us a minute? He looked at Haley for permission. She nodded. He left. Look, if this is such a big deal to you, I can just keep my maiden name, Haley said, already sounding annoyed. I was trying to do something meaningful for me, but whatever. Meaningful. Taking Marco's last name is meaningful to you. He's my best friend. He has been in my life longer than you have. Yes, it's meaningful. And there it was. The truth, laid bare. I'd been in her life for 3 years. Marco had been there for over 2 decades. I was the temporary addition. Marco was permanent. I need to think about some things, I said. Think about what? We're getting married in 4 months. All the planning is done. You're not going to blow up our wedding over a name, are you? The way she said it, like I was the irrational one, like I was the problem. I'll let you know, I replied and walked out. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed the conversation over and over. Her casual tone when she said it, Marco's uncomfortable silence, her justification that he was there first. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Not a hot, explosive anger, but a cold, calculated anger. The kind that makes you think clearly and plan carefully. By morning, I knew exactly what I had to do. First stop, the bridal shop. I walked in right as they opened. I asked to speak to the manager and explain the situation. The engagement was off. I needed to return the dress. They had a policy about special orders, but I had the receipt showing it was purchased less than 30 days ago and hadn't been altered yet. Are you sure about this? The manager asked. It's a gorgeous dress, and your fiancé seemed so happy with it. I'm sure. They processed the return. The $8,000 went back on Monica's credit card. I got the refund confirmation and left. Next stop, my bank. I withdrew $15,000 from my savings. I booked a 3-week solo trip to New Zealand. Something I'd always wanted to do, but Haley had always shot down because she got motion sickness on long flights and Marco couldn't go. Well, surprise, I don't get motion sickness, and I didn't need anyone's permission. The flight left in 4 days. Perfect timing. Then came the part I'd been planning all morning. I went to Haley's apartment while she was at work. I used the key she'd given me. Ironic, considering Marco probably had one too. I packed up absolutely everything of mine that was there. Clothes, toiletries, books, my coffee maker. It all took about an hour. I left her apartment key on the kitchen counter. This is where it gets interesting. I didn't leave a note. I didn't text her. I didn't call her. I just left the key and one thing in her closet where the wedding dress was supposed to hang. A printed out picture of Marco. Just his face, printed on regular printer paper, taped to an empty hanger. Then I went home and waited. Haley called me around 6 p.m. It started off normal enough. Hey, how was your day? Fine. Productive. That's good. Hey, I was thinking about the name thing. Maybe we can compromise. We could go with Haley Bennett Sterling or something. The fact that Sterling was still in there told me everything. Actually, Haley, I have to tell you something. Okay, what's up? Check your closet. Where the wedding dress was. Silence. Then I heard movement. Her footsteps, a door opening, and then a shriek. Where's my dress? What the hell is this? It's Marco's face. Why is Marco's face in my closet? Where's my dress? I returned it. You did what? I returned it. Processed the refund this morning. Your mom should see the credit in a few days. You had no right. That was my dress. It was an $8,000 dress for a wedding that isn't happening. Seemed like a waste to keep it. More screaming, incoherent words mixed with Marco's name and accusations. I waited for her to run out of breath. Are you done? I asked calmly. Done? Done. You just destroyed my wedding dress because you're throwing a tantrum over a name. I didn't destroy anything. I returned it and got your mom's money back. You're welcome. This is insane. Are you crazy? Maybe. Or maybe I'm just tired of being a supporting character in your life with Marco while we pretend I'm the lead. You want his name, Haley. You said it yourself. It's who you're supposed to be. So be Haley Sterling. Just not as my wife. You're breaking up with me over this? I'm breaking up with you because you prioritized your male best friend over your fiancé and saw absolutely nothing wrong with it. The name was just the symptom. The disease is that you and Marco have a relationship that I'm not really a part of. And I'm done being the third wheel in my own engagement. She started ugly crying. Jagged sobs mixed with protests that I was wrong, that I was overreacting, that Marco was just a friend. I'm going to New Zealand, I said, cutting through the crying. A 3-week solo trip. Maybe you and Marco can use that time to figure out what you really want, because it's clearly not me. New Zealand? When? We have wedding planning to do. Past tense. The flight leaves in 4 days. I won't be reachable. You can't do this. Watch me. Have a good life, Haley Sterling. I hung up. I blocked her number, blocked her on social media, and blocked her email. Total scorched earth. Then I called Darius. I did it. Did what? Returned the dress. Booked New Zealand. Ended it. Holy crap, are you serious? Deadly serious. She wanted Marco's last name. He defended it like it was the most normal thing in the world. I'm not marrying someone who values her male best friend more than her fiancé. Good for you, man. For real. That took guts. Or stupidity. Time will tell. The next 4 days were a blur of chaos. Haley tried calling from different numbers. Her mom called, furious about the returned dress and demanding to know what happened. Mutual friends started texting, asking if the wedding was really off. I ignored everyone. Marco tried calling the day before my flight. I actually answered that one. Hey man, he started awkwardly. Haley's a real mess. Good for her. Look, I think you're reading this all wrong. The name thing was just a joke that got out of hand. A joke. It was serious enough for her to tell me to my face she wanted your last name. That's not a joke, Marco. That's a decision. She didn't mean it as, like, a replacement or anything. She just thought it sounded nice. Then why didn't you shut it down? Your best friend is telling her fiancé she wants your name, and you sit there silently. You enabled this whole thing. Silence. That's what I thought, I said. You want her to be Haley Sterling too, don't you? It makes you feel special. It makes you feel like you matter more than whoever she's dating. That's not. Save it. I'm done with both of you. Don't call me again. I hung up and finished packing for New Zealand. The flight was peaceful. Business class. I landed in Auckland ready for 3 weeks of no drama. I rented a camper van, mapped out a route through the South Island, and spent my days hiking and exploring. No wedding planning, no Marco hanging over conversations, just me, nature, and silence. The first week was about unplugging. I did the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. I watched the sunrise over Mount Cook. I kayaked in Milford Sound. Every morning, I woke up with no demands, no expectations. Just, where do I want to go today? The second week, I started to process it all. Sitting by Lake Tekapo under the clearest sky I'd ever seen, I realized how much mental energy I had been spending managing Haley's feelings and the Marco situation. The relief was intoxicating. I met other travelers. Everyone had stories and perspectives. A group of Aussies were particularly helpful. We were camped near each other in Queenstown and spent a night talking. So you just left? One of them asked after I told the story. Returned the dress, booked the trip, and bailed. Yep. Legend. Most blokes would have stuck around, miserable, trying to fix it. You can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken, I replied. The third week felt like a rebirth. I did the Nevis bungee jump, screaming my lungs out on the way down. It felt like letting go of all the frustration I'd been carrying. I posted one single photo, Milford Sound, with the caption, "Sometimes the best company is your own." I didn't tag Haley. I let it speak for itself. Darius texted me during the second week. Haley is losing her mind. She showed up at your house asking where you were. Broke down crying saying you abandoned her. Good. Also, she and Marco had a massive fight. She blamed him for the name thing and for causing the breakup. Their friendship is falling apart. Let them deal with the fallout. When I got on the flight home, I knew exactly what I wanted: peace, independence, and the ability to make decisions without considering someone who never really put me first. The flight back was bittersweet. An incredible trip, but returning to reality meant facing the mess waiting for me. I landed in Colorado on a Wednesday morning. I took my phone off airplane mode, and it exploded. 73 missed calls, dozens of texts, voicemails from Haley, her mom, mutual friends, even Marco again. I listened to exactly one voicemail. Haley's, left 2 days ago. It started with a voice raw from crying. I know you don't want to talk to me, but I need you to know I'm sorry. You were right about everything. The last name thing was stupid and disrespectful, and I don't know why I thought it was okay. Marco and I aren't even speaking right now because I realized how much he influenced everything and how weird our dynamic was. I miss you. I love you. Please call me. Please, can we fix this? I deleted it without responding. Darius picked me up from the airport. The first thing he said was, "You look good, man. Relaxed." I feel good. New Zealand was exactly what I needed. Haley won't stop asking about you. She's desperate to talk. Not interested. Her mom has been calling me too. Apparently, Monica is furious about the dress return and the wedding cancellation. She and Haley's dad are out deposits on the venue and catering. Not my problem. I wasn't the one who decided Marco's last name was more important than her marriage. Darius nodded. Fair point. So what's the plan now? Move on. Simple as that. The engagement is over. The relationship is over. Time to start fresh. We went to a burger joint downtown for lunch. While we were eating, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered out of curiosity. Hello? Finally. You've been dodging everyone for weeks. Haley's voice, frantic and emotional. I was on vacation. I'm allowed to be unavailable. We need to talk. Please, just hear me out. I'm at lunch. Make it quick. Can we meet in person? Please, I need to see you. No. Please, I'm begging you. I messed up. I know I did. And I just need one chance to explain myself. You already explained yourself, Haley. You wanted Marco's last name. That explained everything I needed to know. I didn't mean it. I was being stupid and immature, and I didn't think about how it would make you feel. That's the problem. You didn't think. You just expected me to go along with something completely disrespectful just because it was what you wanted. I know. You're right. I'm admitting you're right. Can we please just talk face to face? One conversation. That's all I'm asking. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We set it for the next day at a park. Neutral ground, public space. Darius thought I was making a mistake. She's going to cry and manipulate you into getting back together. I need closure. Don't let her guilt you. Remember why you left. I remember. The next day, I got there 15 minutes early. Haley showed up looking like a wreck. Messy hair, no makeup, wearing sweatpants. She tried to hug me. I took a step back. Let's just talk, I said. We sat on opposite ends of the bench. An awkward 30 seconds of silence before she started. I've been miserable, she said. I haven't slept right since you left. I can't eat. I can't focus on work. All I think about is how badly I screwed this up. Okay, that's it. That's all you have to say. What do you want me to say, Haley? That I'm miserable too? I'm not. I spent 3 amazing weeks traveling by myself, doing exactly what I wanted with no one's input. She flinched. Without me, you mean? Without you, without Marco, without anyone making my life more complicated than it needed to be. I ended things with Marco, she blurted out. Our friendship. I told him we needed distance because I realized how toxic and weird our dynamic was. He was upset, but I don't care. I chose you. You chose me after I left. That's not choosing, Haley. That's panicking. That's realizing you lost something and trying to get it back. If you had chosen me, you never would have suggested taking his last name in the first place. I know, she whispered. I know I messed up. I'm not arguing with you. I'm agreeing with everything you said. I was wrong, completely, totally wrong. And I'm begging you to give me another chance to fix this. I looked at her, really looked at her. I saw the desperation, the regret, the genuine emotion. Part of me felt bad, but the bigger part of me remembered how casual she was when she announced she wanted Marco's name. How she defended it. How she made me feel like I was the irrational one for caring. You know why I left Marco's picture in your closet? I asked. To make a point. To show you who you were really marrying. Because it wasn't me, Haley. In your head, in your heart, you were building a life with Marco at the center and me as an accessory. The last name just made it obvious. That's not true. It is. Think about it. How many decisions did you make based on what Marco thought? How many times did you prioritize his opinion over mine? How many plans changed because Marco chimed in? She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. Processing. You can't answer because you know I'm right, I continued. And I'm not interested in being anyone's second choice or competing with a male best friend for my own fiancé's attention. You're not a second choice. I love you. You love what I represent. Stability, marriage, the next step in life. But you love Marco more. You said it yourself. He's been in your life longer. He matters more. I didn't mean it like that. You did. And that's fine, Haley. People are allowed to have priorities. But I'm not going to marry someone whose priority list puts me below their childhood friend. She broke down, full-on sobbing, face in her hands. I just sat there impassive. I'd done my crying over this situation. I was done. Please, she said through sobs, please don't give up on us. I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever you want. I will prove to you that you matter more than anyone. You shouldn't have to prove that, Haley. In a healthy relationship, your partner knows they matter. They don't need proof. They don't need grand gestures after the damage is done. They just know. So that's it. It's over. 3 years together, and you're just walking away. You walked away first when you chose his name over mine. I'm just making it final. I stood up. She grabbed my hand. Don't go. Please, don't go. I pulled my hand away gently, but firmly. Goodbye, Haley. I hope you figure out what you really want, but it's not going to be with me. I walked to my SUV and drove away. I saw her in the rearview mirror, still sitting on the bench, crying. I felt nothing but relief. Darius called that night. How'd it go? Exactly like you said. Crying, pleading, promises to change. And it's over. She made her choice. I made mine. End of story. Good for you, man. Seriously, you handled that way better than most guys would have. 2 weeks later, I heard through mutual friends that Haley and Marco were back to being inseparable. I guess that space she needed lasted about as long as it took for me to reject her reconciliation attempt. I wasn't surprised at all. Monica tried calling me one more time, demanding that I pay her back for the lost deposits on the venue and catering, since I was the one who ended the relationship. I reminded her that it was her daughter who wanted to take another man's name, which prompted the breakup. So any financial loss was a consequence of Haley's choices, not mine. She threatened to sue. I told her to go ahead. I never heard from her again. The ring, I kept. I had it redesigned into a different style and gave it to my mom for her birthday. She deserved something nice, and she didn't know the history behind the stones. Haley forfeited any right to that ring the moment she said, Haley Sterling just sounds better. It's been 3 months. I'm doing great. I got a promotion at work. I started going to a rock climbing gym regularly. I've even been on a few casual dates. Nothing serious. Just testing the waters and remembering what it's like to be with someone who doesn't come with built-in complications. Darius keeps asking when I'm going to start dating seriously again. You're over it, dude. Go find someone who actually values you. Maybe he's right. Maybe it's time. But honestly, I'm in no rush. Being single after that whole disaster feels like a permanent vacation. No drama. No competing with childhood best friends. No one telling me they want someone else's name while wearing my ring. The last I checked Haley's social media. Yes, I unblocked her out of curiosity. She had changed her profile name to Haley Sterling. Not legally, just online. Living out that childhood fantasy even without the marriage. Marco is tagged in half her photos. They're not officially dating, according to our old friends, but the energy says otherwise. Comments from their friends asking when they're finally going to get together and admit they're in love. Good for them. They deserve each other. As for me, I'm planning another trip. Japan this time. 3 weeks in the spring, solo again, because I learned something important in New Zealand. I'm excellent company for myself. I don't need validation from someone who values childhood inside jokes over adult commitments. But the story doesn't quite end there. About 6 weeks after our conversation in the park, I got a call from the wedding venue. Haley had tried to reactivate the booking with Marco as her new fiancé, attempting to use the deposit we had forfeited. We have not reconciled, I told them firmly. The wedding is canceled. If she wants to book with Marco, they need their own contract and their own deposit. Understood. We thought that was the case, but we wanted to confirm with you directly. I hung up and immediately called Darius. Dude, Haley just tried to hijack our wedding venue for her and Marco. What? No way. She showed up there with him, claiming they're now engaged and wanted to use our reservation. Darius started laughing so hard, he was practically choking. Let me get this straight. She blows up your engagement because she wants his last name. You leave. She begs you to come back. You say no. And now she's actually marrying him. Looks like it. That's the most predictable ending I've ever heard. How long do you give that marriage? 6 months, if they even make it to the altar. Darius texted me when he heard. Imagine being so obsessed with a last name that you marry the wrong guy just to get it. She literally destroyed a real relationship for a wild fantasy. He wasn't wrong. The whole situation would be sad if it wasn't so absurd. But then, something interesting happened that made me realize I absolutely made the right decision leaving Haley behind. I met Priya, completely by chance, at the climbing gym Darius had been bugging me to go to for months. She was a physical therapist, had her own practice, and had zero tolerance for nonsense or drama. We literally met because I fell off the wall on a tough route. Not my most graceful moment. She was climbing nearby and came over after I'd landed on the mat. You okay? She asked, trying not to laugh at my spectacular fall. My pride is more bruised than anything else. That route is tricky. The third hold is a sloper. It tempts you, but it throws your weight off for the next move. Thanks for the tip. I'll keep that in mind for next time. I'm Priya, she said, holding out a hand with a genuine smile. Ethan, I replied, shaking it. We ended up climbing together for the next hour. She was significantly better than me, which was both humbling and attractive. Afterward, we grabbed smoothies at the gym's cafe and just talked. It was an easy conversation, no pressure, no hidden agendas or weird dynamics. She asked if I was seeing anyone. I gave her the condensed version of the Haley disaster. Just the highlights, no bitterness or anger. Wait, let me get this straight, Priya said, putting her drink down. She wanted to take her male best friend's last name while marrying you. That was her actual plan. Yep. Said it sounded better and they had a childhood joke about it. And you left? Yep. Returned the wedding dress, booked a trip to New Zealand, and didn't look back. Good. That's absolutely insane. Anyone who prioritizes a friend over their partner like that has serious boundary issues. You dodged a massive bullet. Finally, someone who got it without me having to explain or justify or defend my decision. We started dating casually after that. No rush, just two people enjoying each other's company and seeing where it led naturally. She had her own place, a successful career, and a full life. We complemented each other without anyone disappearing into the other. The difference was night and day. Priya would ask for my opinion and actually listen. She made plans and followed through with them consistently. Her friends were normal people who welcomed me in. There was no weird male best friend offering unsolicited opinions on, well, anything. 3 months into dating Priya, I saw on social media that Haley had married Marco. Someone from our old mutual friend group had posted pictures and tagged both of us, thoughtlessly. Are you okay? Priya asked, watching my face as I scrolled through the wedding photos on my phone. Honestly, yeah, I'm fine. She got exactly what she wanted. Haley Sterling. Priya studied the pictures for a moment. You know what's interesting? Looking at this, she doesn't look genuinely happy. She looks relieved, like she finally got permission to do what she wanted all along, rather than celebrating a genuine love. She was right. Haley's smile in the wedding photos was different from the one she had when I proposed on that overlook. Less authentic joy, more a sense of victory, like she'd won a contest I didn't even know I was competing in. They're going to be miserable together, Priya predicted. A relationship built on a childhood fantasy instead of actual compatibility isn't a foundation for marriage. It's quicksand disguised as solid ground. She wasn't wrong, but it wasn't my problem anymore, and that, honestly, brought me a great deal of peace. I'm exactly where I want to be right now, I said, taking her hand. Me too. A few weeks later, Darius called with an update I didn't ask for, but found morbidly interesting. So, apparently Haley and Marco are already having serious problems. How long has it been? 2 months since they got married. About 10 weeks, give or take. According to mutual friends, they're fighting about literally everything. Money management, chores, which friends they hang out with, how they spend their free time. Turns out being married is a lot different than being childhood friends who joke about sharing a last name. Shocking, I said sarcastically. Yeah, and get this. Monica apparently told Haley straight up that she made a huge mistake. Said you were the best thing that ever happened to her, and she threw it all away for a childhood fantasy. Even Haley's mom sees it now. According to several people who were there when it happened, Monica actually said that. She's been pretty vocal about her disappointment in Haley's choices and the way she handled the whole situation. I felt a weird mix of validation and pity. Validation because I had predicted exactly how this would play out. Pity because, despite everything Haley put me through, I didn't actually want her to be miserable for the rest of her life. I just wanted her to learn that actions have real consequences. Well, that's their problem now, I said. Not mine anymore. Exactly. So how are things with Priya? Really good, actually. We're talking about taking a trip together next month. Maybe go back to New Zealand so I can show her all the amazing places I discovered on my solo trip. And look at you, moving on and building something real with someone who actually appreciates you. Genuinely proud of you, man. Priya and I did end up going to New Zealand together that winter. It was completely different from my solo trip. Better, in a lot of ways. Because sharing those incredible experiences with someone who actually wanted to be there and valued them added a whole new layer of meaning to everything. 6 months into our relationship, Priya met my family at our annual holiday gathering. They loved her immediately, which was a huge relief. She's absolutely wonderful, my mom said, pulling me aside in the kitchen. So different from Haley, in all the right ways. You didn't really like Haley, did you? We were polite because she was your choice. But there was always something off about her, like she was playing the part of your girlfriend instead of actually being present in the relationship. Priya is authentic. Don't mess this one up. Around the same time, I ran into Jasmine, Haley's sister, at a coffee shop downtown. Priya was with me, waiting in line to order our drinks. Hey, Jasmine said, approaching cautiously. Can I talk to you for a second? Jasmine, this is Priya, my girlfriend. Priya, this is Haley's sister, Jasmine. They shook hands politely. Priya immediately understood the significance and awkwardness of the encounter. I wanted to apologize, Jasmine said bluntly, for how everything ended with Haley. She was completely out of line with the last name thing, and honestly, we all knew it was wrong, but nobody wanted to say anything and rock the boat. I appreciate you saying that. For what it's worth, marrying Marco was a huge mistake on her part. They're already talking about separating after only a few months. Apparently, being husband and wife is a lot different than being childhood best friends who share a last name and inside jokes. I'm sorry to hear things aren't working out for them. Don't be. Haley needs to learn that actions have real consequences. She had something genuine and solid with you, and she destroyed it for something completely stupid. Now she's living with that choice every day. After Jasmine left, Priya was quiet for a long moment before she spoke. How are you feeling about all that? She finally asked. Honestly, I don't feel anything. No satisfaction at being right. No vindication in her failing marriage. Just really glad I'm not involved in that mess. That's incredibly healthy. Priya and I moved in together after 8 months of dating. It was seamless in a way that living with Haley never would have been. No arguments about which furniture to keep, no passive-aggressive comments about decor, and no unexpected pop-ins from male best friends with strong opinions on living room layouts. Just two people building a life together based on mutual respect and a true partnership. A year after I returned the wedding dress, on the exact same day, I received one last message from Haley. She had created a new social media account specifically to contact me, since I had blocked all her other avenues. I know you've moved on, and I'm genuinely happy for you. I just wanted you to know that you were completely right about everything. Marco and I are separating after less than a year of marriage. It turns out that getting married primarily because you like someone's last name isn't a good foundation for a real marriage. I threw away something authentic and valuable for a childhood fantasy, and I will regret that decision for the rest of my life. I hope you're truly happy. You deserve it after everything. I showed the message to Priya on my phone. Are you going to respond? I thought about it, really thought about it. I thought about everything that had happened between us, about all the pain and growth and the new life I had built since leaving her. She wasn't looking for closure, forgiveness, or validation from me, but I don't owe her any of that. I've already completely moved on with my life. That's all the closure either of us really needs. I blocked the new account and permanently deleted the message without a second thought. Amen. Comment. Thank you for sharing this time with me and reflecting on this story. It truly highlights how crucial it is to know your own value, even when others do not. Setting healthy boundaries is not an act of aggression, but a profound act of self-respect. Sometimes, the most powerful choice we can make is to quietly walk away from situations that compromise our peace. Remember, being kind to yourself is never a selfish decision. True healing begins when we take ownership of our happiness and well-being. You deserve relationships where you are a priority, not an option. I hope this encourages you to honor your needs with courage and clarity. Always choose your peace, because you are absolutely worth it. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.